Before environmental justice had language, funding, or institution, it had questions. Why were some communities forced to live with landfills, incinerators, and toxic air, while others were protected?
My personal experience in this roadmap dating back to 1979 in Houston, Texas, when I was asked to collect data and do a report for a lawsuit, Bean versus Southwestern Waste Management Corporation here in Houston. And it involved my wife at the time filing a lawsuit in support of residents in Northwood Manor, which is Northeast Houston subdivision, black, middle-class, suburban neighborhood of homeowners. Not a ghetto, not a poverty pocket, but solid neighborhood that was being targeted for a sanitary landfill.
That study mapped a pattern no one had documented before.
5 out of 5 of the city-owned landfills, 6 out of 8 of the city-owned incinerators, 3 out of 4 of the private-owned landfills were located in predominantly black neighborhoods in Houston.
What began as a local battle in Houston became the foundation of a national movement.
But for a long time, for more than a decade, I had been working on environmental justice issues in the 70s, in the 80s, in early 90s. There were no centers at universities, at any universities.
Research was done without infrastructure. Rapid response happened without standing teams. Trust was built one relationship at a time with the help of researchers like Dr. Danae King.
So many of the communities that we work in today are the same communities that we were working in before the actual Bullard Center was founded. So we were working in Pleasantville, Cashmere Gardens, Trinity Gardens, Fifth Ward, Sunnyside, Galena Park. So we worked on projects specifically related to air monitoring. So there were lots of air monitors already in place before the Bullard Center designation. We were working on lots of disaster preparedness work, so Hurricane Harvey.
After the 2017 storm hit, public systems stalled. Debris piled up, and entire communities were left navigating recovery on their own.
And we were able to meet Dr. King, Dr. Bullard, and their staff, because we realized somebody was out there being a champion for the things that were important to us.
And the team didn't arrive with a temporary fix. They arrived with statistics, history, and a long-term commitment.
We appreciate the Bullard Center being there to help us to understand what the data looks like, to understand this has been going on for a long time.
What was to come would solidify the infrastructure needed to create a firm foundation in the fight for environmental justice.
Elizabeth Love was our program officer with Houston Endowment. I received a call one day that Elizabeth wanted to really invest in particularly the environmental justice work done here at Texas Southern University by encouraging us to create a center named after Dr. Robert Bullard.
In 2021, the Houston Endowment made a $1.25 million investment. And with that gift, the Bullard Center for Environmental and Climate Justice at Texas Southern University was born.
We developed the community university model, community university partnership. We developed the rapid response model. And the idea was to have these technical support individuals who could rapidly respond to communities' needs. And we carried that forward for 3 decades.
So one of the good things about when you look at Texas Southern University, I mean, we are a comprehensive research institution, and I would say highly researched. And one of the things is, like, again, he's one of our top researchers here at the university. And pretty much on our side of the house, when you look at really black and brown communities, it has a major impact, because these are things where you look at really, high incidence of birth defect, high incidence of really of cancer and things like that. And so we need an advocate, and he's always been that voice. He's been that that person that really goes around to a lot of these communities.
The center was founded on 5 core principles: education and training, research and policy, civic engagement and advocacy, networking, and technical assistance and support. A concept Deborah Walker from the Sunnyside Community Redevelopment Organization says has been invaluable.
We were working freely in our communities, and then she said, you know, you all can do this work in your own community. You can have your own organization, and you can do this work, and you can, you know, help other communities.
This is a foundational principle of environmental justice. Communities must be able to speak and act for themselves. Rapid response efforts were also at the core of the center's work that was on full display in Dr. Bullard's hometown of Shiloh, Alabama, where highway expansion threatens to wash away generations of Black-owned land.
Before Dr. Bullard came, it was already 5.5 years. You know, dealing with the flooding and everything. People make a lot of promises and a lot of letdowns, you know. And he assured me, he says, we're going to do everything we can.
And it did. Armed with researchers, advocates, and funds to help marginalized communities fight for what rightfully belonged to them.
The center has allies, you know what I'm saying? They can call on different people to help you. With our work with Dr. Bullard, we've seen with the Bullard Center and him, he has different professors that he can call on and help do different things, you know what I'm saying? It may be lawyers, it may be different environmental people that could help with the situation. If it had not been for Dr. Bullard and the Bullard Center, we wouldn't be where we at today.
We don't stand in front of communities. We don't speak for communities. We support communities. And the idea that we developed, you know, some 40 years ago, principle of environmental justice, the overarching principle is that communities that are on the front line, that are impacted the most, must be in those rooms when decisions are being made about their communities and about their self-determination. And they must speak for themselves in a way that can empower them to do this work.
The Bullard Center's legacy isn't only measured by the communities it serves, but by the leaders it grows.
Dr. Bullard decided that we would start the Bullard Center and have a very student-centered focus. That focus meant us working with high school students and undergraduate students as well.
Starting her work as a Mickey Leland Scholar, Joy moved from theory into practice, learning how environmental harm connects to systems of policy, planning, and power.
Without the Bullard Center, a lot of community organizations wouldn't be able to have the technical assistance that they need and wouldn't even know where to start. So I think it's really important to have places like the Bullard Center, especially, you know, here on a Texas Southern University campus, because there's access to so many resources and information that otherwise communities would be just left in the dark.
Some arrived with a clear sense of purpose. Others discovered it along the way. Take Destiny O'Connell. What began as an internship with the first Environmental Justice Climate Corps became exposure to communities and the direct impact of environmental stresses.
On the first day, we had took a toxic tour of the city, which was really inspiring because you actually got to talk to community members in those communities, and you actually got to know what they were going through personally with the issues that they were having within local government and just within environmental issues in general. So that kind of just made me change my perspective on not just being able to help out one by one each person in the criminal justice system, but being able to help out communities of people in the environmental justice system.
His students have gone off to graduate school, working throughout these United States and globally. So it is a central part of Texas Southern University, and I just want to say thank you, and thank you again, Dr. Bullard, for the fine job.
For decades, this movement has lasted because the people refuse to let it fall. But justice should not depend on endurance alone.
And so my vision is to have the Bullard Center endowed. In other words, major universities, when they care about things, they have people donors, in many cases alums, who may drop $30, $40 million into an institute, into a center that would endow it to do this work.
It means the work does not rise and fall with administrations or disappear when priorities shift.
We should also strive not to have a 4-year plan that can change as to who's sitting in office in Austin or in DC or wherever. We should have a 40-year plan.
For the Bullard Center, endowment is how the vision is safeguarded.
We should be the lead. We should expect to get the first call from communities that have been left out, that have been left behind, and to make sure that we push forward the best solutions using the best information and the best science, research, knowledge, and facts. That's what we should be, and that's what we should strive toward. Any attempt to cancel our movement will fail. You can cancel a grant, but you can't cancel a movement.
The Bullard Center exists so communities know they are not standing alone. So students know this movement has a future they can step into. And so that the essence of the environmental justice movement continues to shift from footnote to headline.